All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name's Aaron, and I got some really powerful audio that I'm going to play for you in just 1 second. It's going to make you excited to be involved with cryptocurrency. It's going to make you excited to be an early adopter. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe because we come at you on a daily basis. We break things down. We make cryptocurrency accessible to the average everyday person. And I think you appreciate that. If you really want to show support to the channel, smash up the like button. And without further ado, let's get into it. The top story of today is this. Jack Dorsey, who is the CEO of both Twitter and the CEO of Square, both cutting-edge companies, he recently went on the Stephen Livera podcast, and he went on with this woman right here. Her name is Elizabeth Stark. No, she's not a character on Game of Thrones, but she is the CEO of Lightning Labs. And Lightning Labs, it's a tech startup. It's been around since 2013, I believe, and they develop for Bitcoin and Bitcoin's Lightning Network. And Jack is an investor in Lightning Labs. So they went on this podcast, and for 1 hour straight, they gave their thoughts on Bitcoin and the future of Bitcoin and the future of the Lightning Network. They talked about a bunch of different stuff. Specifically, what I liked about it, they talked about the future of Bitcoin's Lightning Network integrated into both Twitter and the Square Cash App. And the takeaway is that it's not a matter of if this is going to be integrated into Square and integrated into Twitter. This is a matter of when. So I'm going to leave a link to this whole podcast in the description. Do yourself a favor, listen to the whole thing. They talk about Bitcoin the whole time. But let me play you some of my favorite parts and see if this doesn't make you excited about the future of Bitcoin. Because if this doesn't, I don't know what will. This is just like how the internet changed the way we consumed information. Bitcoin is changing the way that we see and we use money, and Jack and Elizabeth echoed similar thoughts. And to me, as an investor, this makes me realize that the bull run that we saw in 2017 could possibly be just a drop in the bucket. So let me play you some of this. And again, the main takeaway is that Jack wants to integrate Bitcoin and Lightning Network into both Twitter and Square's Cash App. Now, Square's Cash App, you already know, they have integrated Bitcoin to a certain degree. You can buy and sell Bitcoin on the Cash App. You can't transact with it yet, but that's coming. You're going to hear. And they're going to integrate Lightning Network and also integrate Lightning Network into Twitter. And the way they're going to do this, they said they're not going to release anything without it being secure and very user-friendly. If it's not secure and very user-friendly, there's really no point. And when they release this stuff, they want to further Bitcoin as a currency and a means of transaction. So check this out. This is awesome.
Excellent. All right, so let's now turn to a little bit more discussion on Square and the Cash App. So, Jack, you gave us a little bit of a breakdown on how the Cash App came to include Bitcoin. I think another theme of the Cash App is just around financial empowerment, and it's very easy onboarding for a Bitcoin user. Can you tell us a little bit more on that?
Yeah, we wanted sending and receiving money to be as simple as communicating that. And Bitcoin felt like it didn't necessarily feel natural, but it felt like a really cool cultural experiment and something that our customers would appreciate. And it turns out, like, we were right about that. I think we have a pretty compelling experience that people who would not necessarily be able to get to Bitcoin in the past can now get to with just one tap, and they can plug right into that 24/7 network and see it living and breathing. So we do intend to continue to expand it and do so in a way that feels simple, that feels approachable, and ultimately what cash comes down to is just accessible. I think it's a pretty compelling experience, but there's a lot more we can do to get at some of the ideas that Elizabeth was talking about in terms of making it more transactional, making it more everyday, going back to that idea of making it simple enough that I could justify using it to buy a cup of coffee in the morning.
And so there have been a few ideas thrown around in terms of possible new features, one of which was this idea of enabling people to auto buy Bitcoin with the savings that they get from the Cash App. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jack?
Yeah, we've we've definitely heard that ask, and I think there's something there. We haven't explored it too much just yet, but we do hear the call, and we think it would be pretty compelling. A lot of from my point of view, anything that we can do to help Bitcoin be more seen as a currency use case and a transactional use case, that's where we should be prioritizing right now, and exploring and experimenting. So we're right now we're thinking more in that dimension, and how we might further that than what we currently have today.
What about ideas such as Lightning within the Cash App? Do you have any ideas there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been exploring with Elizabeth and the Lightning team more around Lightning broadly. We have this massive seller network of small and medium and large businesses, and we would love to make it as fast and efficient and transactional as possible. And that includes like looking at our seller base and our register, and it's not a if, it's more of a when.
All right, so I was hoping to just transition now just to a little bit of discussion around Twitter. So there have been a couple ideas there of Bitcoin and Lightning within Twitter. So one potential idea people have thrown around is this idea of tipping using Lightning, just when you like somebody's tweet. Do you have any ideas around potential there, Jack?
I think there's a lot there. I think and it's really compelling and something that we want to spend a lot more time on. But I mean, we finally have these technologies more broadly at the blockchain level that I think can help us address some of the challenges we're facing with Twitter, including trust and identity, and certainly the providing more economic incentive rather than just what Twitter provides today, which is reach. So it is a pretty active conversation within the company and around the company, and we want to be smart about it and make sure that again we're building something that feels really simple and accessible and is timed in the right way. But it's definitely something that I would be excited about and would love to see.
I would say, the Bitcoin and the Lightning community, especially. I mean, Twitter is the place where we're all interacting, right? But to me, being able to, integrate that would be a dream for us, and something that, fingers crossed, we'll see make happen.
Excellent. And there's also, I mean, just generally, there could be this idea of paying for things with Bitcoin. So, for example, paying for promoted tweets, and that could be another revenue source for Twitter.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the just what the technology enables, and it's something that we could only dream of at scale in the past, but now it feels a whole lot more accessible and within reach.
All right. So let's talk now a little bit more broadly about Lightning Network. As I view it, I think it enables entire new industries, or it can reinvigorate old ones. So we can have micropayments for streamers used in gaming and online stores. Elizabeth, do you want to comment a little further on that?
That was great. So let me know in the comments what you thought about that. I'll be reading and responding to the comments just like always. Now, I know that Jack has had a little bit of controversy with him and Twitter censoring certain people. So putting that aside, what do you think about what you just heard? I think this is great, right? It reminds me of just like the internet in the early days. It was kind of clunky, but people developed it. It became faster and more secure and more user-friendly. And I think the same thing is happening with Bitcoin. And it's very possible that years from now, your friends, my friends, they're going to wish they would have paid attention to all this stuff back in 2019. Now, by the time that they get involved, hopefully Bitcoin will be an everyday means of transaction. Hopefully it'll be easy to use, inclusive, everybody can understand it. Less risk, less reward in the future, right? Right now it's more risk, more reward. So moving on, this is crazy. Ripple giving $1 million bonuses to its engineers. So let me give you the details on this and give me your thoughts. So one engineer who asked to remain anonymous showed CoinDesk a recruiting email from late 2018 that promised an XRP package from Ripple worth up to $3 million in addition to the generous salary offer. Now, according to the company's LinkedIn, Ripple is looking to hire more than a dozen engineers and technical experts, including a new head of engineering for its X-Current project, which aims to rival the legacy messaging network Swift at the center of the current global payment infrastructure. And just to refresh your memory, not that this information is important to this particular story, but X-Current is Ripple technology that doesn't use the XRP token. It's X-Rapid that does use the XRP token. So I like when I hear stories saying X-Rapid project, X-Current. It's good, but not as good. So anyway, getting back to the bonuses, salaries may vary according to seniority, but based on conversations with 2 prospective recruits, XRP bonuses for engineers generally range in value from $1 million to $6 million, and that's according to the company's own evaluation. At the time of press, XRP is trading at roughly 30 cents per token. Now, Ripple declined to comment on this particular story. One former Ripple employee who asked to stay anonymous for fear of legal retribution told CoinDesk he's never heard of such an XRP bonus package before 2017. However, he also noted generous equity deals are standard in Silicon Valley, so it's normal in Silicon Valley to offer engineers and developers big bucks. Now, $1 million to $6 million, that's a lot. I want to get your take on this now. What does this all mean for Ripple and XRP? If this is true, is this good for XRP as an investment? I mean, on the one hand, this is great for the tech, because, when they hire these people, then they have a lot of incentive to work really hard for XRP. But on the other hand, this reminds people that, Ripple holds a lot of the XRP token, which screams centralization to me. Now, I don't know. I don't follow XRP maybe as much as you. Tell me what you think. Is this good for Ripple? Is this not good for Ripple? Is XRP a good buy? How many XRP will be life-changing in the future? Next up, this is just a public service announcement. Nuls is under special treatment on Kucoin, possible delist. So this isn't, I'm not talking about this is a bad company to invest in. You know that I like Nuls. It's a 3rd generation platform cryptocurrency trying to give businesses an edge when developing blockchains. It has side chains. There's a lot of things I like about Nuls. The fact that they're being delisted or possibly delisted, they're on the special treatment list, isn't necessarily a bad thing. As you can see here, there are many, many reasons that a coin could be put on the special treatment list, including low liquidity and stuff like that. And if you look on Kucoin, Nuls does have very low volume and low liquidity. So that's probably the reason. So this is just a PSA. Possibly get your Nuls off of Kucoin if you have it on there. Next up, New York Stock Exchange parent company Intercontinental Exchange anticipates over $20 million spend on Bakkt this year. So really the story is the headline. Actually, this is a great article. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description. If you want to refresh yourself on everything that Bakkt is doing, read this article. But basically, they're just saying that they plan to put at least $20 million into building Bakkt this year. And this is 6 weeks after Bakkt announced that they raised $182 million in their first round of fundraising. So Bakkt continues to work, and they say they're going to launch by this year. Whether they do or not, I do think they're going to launch eventually. And when that happens, that's going to create a lot of trust and ease for people who are more comfortable, with institutions like this. So I think it can only be good. And the final thing, I just wanted to point this out to you, that there have been thousands of new subscribers in the R cryptocurrency subreddit recently. And they asked these people, why do you think that is? And many people said, I can only speak for myself, but I've seen blood in the streets. I've seen people say cryptos are dead. For me, this is a good sign of the bulls. Point is, people are noticing that right now the market is relatively low, and a lot of retail investors are looking to find an entry point back in. We're 85% corrected. Right now, Bitcoin is about 3,500. A lot of people think that we're not going to go any lower than where we've been. We bounced off the 200-week moving average. It's possible. I personally think that we have maybe another tier to fall. We'll see. If we never fall, that's going to be great. Now, nobody knows what's going to happen in the short term. All I can share with you guys is stories like this, which to me suggest good things in the long term. And that's it for me, my friends. If you found value in this video, why not support the channel? Why not just click the like button? Honestly, it's the very least you could do. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, guys.